happy Sunday, or good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you watch this video. But anyway, welcome back to the nursery for those of you who follow me regular and you're already subscribed. And welcome to my nursery if you are new and you are stopping by for the first time. I would like to say, please subscribe if you're new and you haven't clicked the subscribe button yet. Please click it now while I am reminding you so you won't forget. And also click the notification bell so you'll know when I do new videos. So today I am back with little Miss Laila. So I wanted to come and do another chat video. Things have just been coming across to me lately that I just feel like I have to chat about. So this particular topic, I have talked about it before, especially when I first came into this hobby. It's going on in November will be 8 years since I stumbled across these realistic babies, silicone babies and reborn dolls, and started just having to collect them, wanting to collect them, and I started collecting them 8 years ago. So when I first started, this particular topic was actually something that I went through briefly, and I say briefly, I emphasize briefly. I went through this particular thing myself personally, so I definitely can understand that it's a difficult thing to go through. It's definitely not easy, especially if you can't find a middle ground, so to speak, in your own situation, in your own life, and your own household, dealing with our dolls. So in the meantime, while I'm chatting, I'm going to do a drinking wet feeding with Laila. Laila is the Dwayne Awake sculpt by Clear Taylor Dolls, and she is an edition baby. She is number 4 of the Awake dolls in the Dwayne edition. There were 5 Awake Dwaynes, so she's number 4. It's a very small edition. They are all completely done by Clear Taylor from start to finish, sculpted, molded, poured into silicone, painted, hair rooted, everything all by Clear Taylor. And this baby is actually created from a portrait baby, a real baby. The real baby, of course, Dwayne was a little boy. So she is a portrait baby. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to be feeding her. Lately, I've been wanting to do drinking wet feedings with my dolls more. I had kind of took a break off of it. Like when she first came home, I was so excited to have a drinking wet silicone baby. So I was like feeding her, like you would have thought she was a real baby. I was feeding this baby, like forget it. On camera, off camera, she was being fed. But then after I had her for a while, I kind of slowed down on the drinking wet feedings. But for some reason, it's come over me again where I'm wanting to feed my babies, my drinking wet babies. And even if they don't have a drinking wet, I do the fake formula feedings with the ones that don't have a drinking wet. As long as they can get a bottle in their mouth, I'm feeding them. I don't know what it is. I love to feed my babies. And I also enjoy, like with my real babies, when they were newborn, especially, and you had to hold the bottle for them, and then I would also breastfeed them. I enjoyed it, so I guess that's why I enjoy feedings with my dolls. It kind of reminds me of that time with my real babies when they were little. So I love bottles, as I've said, and I have a ton of bottles, and this is a new one, another one I picked up the other day when I was in Walmart. And I have these bottles, I think, already, if I'm not mistaken. But instead of the Nook being in that teal color that I love. The nook on the other two are in pink and one is blue. And I think it's the shorter ones, like the 5 ounce. I believe they're nooks. So I'm going to be trying out this one. And matter of fact, the other two that I have, the nipples are sealed for my babies that don't have drinking wet systems. So I decided I wanted this one so that I could use it for my babies that have the drinking wet. So this nipple, I will not seal this one. So yeah. Are you going to take this? And that was my lubricant I put on here, the KY Liquid Personal Lubricant. It's water-based. It's safe for silicone dolls' lips. The gloss on their lips, it protects it. And the paint, it protects it. Makes the bottle just kind of go in much easier than if the nipple is dry. And I did see a question pop up. I forgot to go read that question. Someone was asking me about the KY jelly. So I need to go read that question to see what were they asking me about that. Just in case you're watching this video, I will go back and read that question so I can answer whatever you were asking me. But anyway, so yeah, I wanted to feed her with this bottle. I had picked it up earlier this week. So I'm finally getting to sit down and try it out. Hopefully she'll drink from it good. And she is drinking distilled bottled water. I only give my drinking wet dolls distilled bottled water, as I've said. So anyway, what I wanted to talk about is a message that I've gotten. It wasn't really a message. It actually was a comment from one of my subscribers. And she's been following me for a while, even on my old channel, this channel. She had commented that she sadly would be leaving the hobby. And I was so shocked because she seemed like she was really into collecting the dolls and everything. And she had been following me for a long time. But what really made me sad is when I kept reading and discovered that the reason she was leaving the hobby is because her family does not accept her dolls. And I know when I first got into this hobby, I had that same issue. And I wouldn't really say they didn't accept my dolls. And it wasn't my kids. It was my husband at the time, which my husband passed away. This November will be 6 years ago, I believe. Yes, 6 years. I can't believe it. But at the time, when I first started getting into these dolls, he didn't really understand the purpose of me having them. He didn't understand the dolls themselves. He did say how real they looked. And for him, I think it was kind of a creepy factor with him. Like a lot of people find that these dolls look so real that it just freaks them out, and they find the dolls to be creepy because they look so real, but yet they're not moving, they're not alive, and they just can't handle that part of it. And I can understand that. But so my husband didn't really like them for that reason. And it's not like that he didn't like them. He just didn't see the purpose of me having them, basically. And then when I told him the prices, he really couldn't understand it. He was like, what? But as time went on, I sort of stood my ground. I didn't push the dolls on him. I had them. He knew I had them. And eventually he got used to me having them. He got used to them being around. I didn't put them all over the house. I had them in my bedroom. And at first I didn't have a whole nursery when I first started collecting my dolls. They used to be just like in the room with us. And I had like a little clothes basket I had made with a little pillow in it and a blanket to make a little bed for my doll. And I didn't have a lot of dolls at first. I only had one reborn first, and then a couple of months after I got my first partial silicone. So it was just the 2 dolls I had. They didn't have a whole ton of clothes yet. I didn't get crazy with the clothes right away. I kind of eased into things. I didn't have like an abundance of stuff like I have now and a whole nursery and all of that. I didn't have all of this in the beginning. But I used to like hold my dolls. He would see me holding them. It was no big thing to him. I usually, when I started doing videos with them a few months after I got into the hobby, it wasn't right away I started doing videos. But I would just do my videos like when he was working or out. That's when I would have time and have the house to myself. The kids were at school and it was quiet. I would do my little videos. And so my hobby, I would say it didn't interfere with anyone else. It was just my hobby. And I guess that's why eventually he got used to me having them and it wasn't a big deal. But my subscriber, my viewer, said that her family doesn't like her dolls. They feel like, I guess, is something wrong with her having them. And it's been a couple of weeks ago that she left this comment, and I should have actually read it again to get the whole details of what she was saying. But this is just basically what I took away from it when I read it. They felt like it was kind of too much with her. I believe she had like a nursery also. And she had a few dolls, and eventually she decided, because her family felt like she was getting too into the dolls or whatever, or collecting them, she decided, because they didn't agree with it and they didn't really like it and they didn't see the purpose of her having them, and it was making her family so uncomfortable with her having them and it was bothering them so much, she decided to just pack up her little nursery for her dolls and let go of all of her dolls, and she's no longer collecting dolls. So I just found that to be so sad, because I feel like if you love these dolls and they make you happy when you're collecting them, I feel like our families should allow and be comfortable and just let us have our hobby and enjoy our dolls. I don't feel like, if it's not bothering anyone, I just don't see like why I or anyone else, why should we have to get rid of our dolls? It's not harming anyone. As long as we're not mentally losing touch with reality, I feel like it shouldn't be a problem if we have our dolls. Now, if you start losing touch with reality and you don't realize they're dolls anymore, then I could see our family maybe getting a little bit disturbed and, worried about us. But if you know they're dolls and you're collecting them, just like I'm sitting here feeding Layla this water and she's gonna wet her diaper and I'm gonna have to change her. I love it. I enjoy feeding her. I find it calming. Like I said, always love feeding my real babies. So this kind of just gives me that back, because now my real babies no longer are babies and I'm not having any more babies. So this is, to me, I don't see anything wrong with me sitting here enjoying feeding my baby. Long as I know that she's not real and I didn't lose that. I know she's not real. She's a doll. I don't see where this should be bothering anyone, my family, my husband, or anyone else. And I feel like when people run across our channels and they are freaked out by these dolls, or they don't feel like we should have them, or they feel like something's wrong with us, they don't have to watch our videos. They can just click off and keep moving, because they're not into this hobby. They don't like it or they don't understand it. Whatever the reason, it's fine. But they don't need to leave nasty comments under the videos and all of that. They can just click right off and go to the next channel, that they want to watch. But when it's your family, of course, they can't click off because you're in the house with the dolls. So I understand if our families don't really like the dolls, but I feel like if it's not in their way, you're not pushing the dolls on them, then they shouldn't care if we're collecting the dolls. It's our hobby. And I feel like in any family there should be an allowance for someone to enjoy what they love, as long as it's not anything harmful to them or anyone else. That is just my opinion. I know everybody's household and family situation is different. So by all means, don't take what I'm saying to heart. This is just my opinion. Because all of our families and the way we handle things may be different. But like with myself, say if my husband never accepted my dolls and he just never ended up liking them, would I have gotten rid of my dolls? No. That's just me. If it's something I'm enjoying and it's making me happy, I guess it's my stubbornness. I'm very headstrong. I'm not going to get rid of it because the next person doesn't like it. Even if it's my significant other, my husband, I can't see that I would let that person take something that is making me happy. Just like the person or my husband makes me happy, I feel like they should be happy if I find something else that I like, a hobby I like or whatever, and it's making me happy. An activity I like, I should be allowed to be happy. We all should be allowed to be happy as long as we're not doing anything wrong or harming anyone. And I don't see where having these dolls is harming anyone. Some people don't feed them. They just collect them. They might change their clothes and that's it. That's a nice way. That's how you collect. We all do our collections different with our dolls. Some of us just display them. That's fine. But anyway, you're enjoying the dolls is a hobby. It's your hobby. It makes you happy. It's something you love. I don't see where I could let my family dictate to me and tell me I can't have it. Or even if they're not per se telling me I can't have it, I can't see, even if they didn't like it, that I would let it get to me and just give up my dolls. I can't. I couldn't do it. I love my dolls so much that I feel like whoever I'm with, my significant other, he has to accept my dolls as well. And not that I'm going to make him hold them. He don't have to hold them. He don't have to interact with them. It's my hobby. As long as he allows me to be happy with my hobby and he's not constantly bugging me about it or getting on my case about it, we'll just have to make it work. As long as he let me have them and he leave me alone with my little dolls, me and him will be fine. But I can't see where I would actually get rid of my dolls because my husband didn't like them, or my kids. Say it was my younger kids or my grown kids, because I have younger kids that are under 18 and then I have 2 older daughters that are grown. And I couldn't see none of them like saying what I can have or can't have. And I don't really care if they don't like them because it's not for them, it's for me. And I feel if you are the mother and wife in your family, everybody should want you to be happy. Because when mother is happy, wife is happy, then everybody else is gonna be happy. That's how I see it. As long as I'm happy, I'm gonna be making everybody else happy. If I'm miserable and they making me all miserable and I can't enjoy my dolls or whatever hobby I have, it don't necessarily have to be dolls, then I'm gonna be unhappy. I think it's gonna make them unhappy if I'm unhappy. So nobody wants that. We all want to be happy, right? So definitely mother, wife, I need to be happy. So that's how I see it. And the man in my life, I think he wants me to be happy. So he's not going to interfere with me collecting my dolls because he know I love my dolls. Just like he know I love my kids. And like I have a new man in my life, let me say that. And he, like, right from the beginning, I told him about my dolls. And that's one thing since my husband passed away. Any new person in my life, new guy, I tell them about my dolls right away so they know what's going on. When they come in my house, they're going to see these dolls, so they won't be freaked out. They won't be creeped out. They'll kind of know what to expect, that I collect lifelike dolls. I don't hide my dolls. I don't put them away or nothing when people come. They are, if they come, especially in my room, they see them. I don't really put them all over my living room, so they wouldn't see them in my living room. They come in my nursery, they're in here. But I just basically put it out there when I get into a new relationship, so that way the person knows I collect them. And right off the bat, if they don't like them, that relationship, I tell you, is probably it's not gonna get nowhere. That's how I feel about it. If you come into my life, you have to accept my children first and foremost, and my dolls second. Okay, so it is me, is my kids, and my dolls. You gotta accept all of us, or that relationship ain't getting far. I'm looking at messages on my phone. But yeah, I feel like if my man can't accept my dolls, I know that relationship right from the get-go, it ain't going nowhere. So I have just gotten into that habit. New relationship, new man, right away he knows I collect these dolls. And so far, he loves my dolls. He know I love them. He know they make me happy, so he's fine with that. So that's a good thing. But unfortunately for everyone, it's not always that way. So I feel for you if it's not where your family accepts your dolls. It's really hard to just give up something that you love. Of course, you want to say your family comes first, but like I said, I feel like your happiness should matter too. And I feel like family should try to make like some kind of middle ground where, as long as your dolls aren't all over the house interfering with everyone, you should be able to have them, put them in, like if you have an extra room and you close your nursery off, your dolls are in there. Or if they're in your bedroom and you keep them in a little corner in your bedroom, and they're not all over the place, all on the bed and everything. If your husband didn't like them being on the bed, then you don't put them all over the bed. Like, it has to be some kind of way to kind of compromise to make everybody comfortable and happy. That would be, I guess, a perfect world. I guess it doesn't always work like that, but that's what I feel like. There should be some kind of compromise. And it reminded me of this other lady that I used to talk to a while, years ago, like when I first came into the hobby, like maybe a year or two in. And she was just getting into the hobby, and she had bought a silicone doll, a nice silicone doll. I can't remember what sculpt it was, but it was pretty high end, and she was just coming in, and her very first silicone doll was a high end silicone doll. And she got the doll home, and she was so enjoying her doll, and her husband didn't like the doll. He was creeped out by the dolls. He was really uncomfortable with the dolls being in the house. So she tried to like compromise with him, where she was keeping the doll in the closet, like in their guest room, their spare room. It wasn't even in the closet in her bedroom. It was like in the spare room. She put all of the doll stuff in there, the clothes and all of that, and the doll. She had like a crate she would keep the doll in and put it in the closet. So at all, like the doll wasn't like in her husband's way at all. He didn't have to see it. She didn't really like have the doll out. Once he came from work, that doll was put away. She said he still didn't want the doll in the house. Like, she couldn't win. Even though she had the doll hid in the closet, he just knew that doll was in the house, and he didn't want it in the house. So eventually she had only had the doll maybe 2 weeks, and she had to sell it. He didn't make her sell it, but she said because he was so disturbed by the doll, she just decided she wouldn't keep it because it was making him so miserable. So again, that was another friend I had. And she was new into the hobby, and she had to give up her doll because she just didn't want to make her husband so miserable. And she didn't have any kids. I don't think she could have kids. So the doll was really like therapeutic for her, and it was comforting for her to have it, but he did not want her to have it. So she ended up selling it. And I just felt so bad for her. But yeah, that's how it is with this hobby with some people's families. They do not want them having these dolls, and they will not reach a middle ground. Like, they just don't want you to have them. But like I said, my man have to be accepting, or we ain't gonna get nowhere in that relationship. I'm sorry. And like I said, even with my husband, I was already married, had kids and everything, and I started collecting the dolls. And so it wasn't like I could not be in a relationship. I was already married. So it was good. After a while, my husband kind of began to accept the dolls, and he was fine with it. Because we probably would have had a big problem if he didn't eventually grow to accept my dolls. We would have had a problem. Because I'm one that, I guess it's me, okay, don't take nothing I'm saying and go try nothing in your own relationship. You got to know your man or whoever your significant other is, because you don't want to be like getting you and your dolls put out of the house. But with me, I say again, with me, I cannot like let go of something I love and be miserable because my significant other tell me I can't have it. That ain't gonna work with me. I'm sorry. I have to stand my ground. That's just how I am. That is just how I am, guys. If it's something I want, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna enjoy it. As long as it ain't bothering you, it's not harming us, you better let me have it. If you want me to be happy and you want the relationship to stay happy, I'm happy, you happy, we all gonna be happy. That's just me. But anyway, I just wanted to just touch on that subject and have any of the rest of you experience that, or are you experiencing that now with your dolls? And have you thought of any ways to kind of make your family and your husband or significant other accept your dolls? Did you find out a way to do that? Maybe you could comment underneath, because I know people read the comments. It might help somebody else out. Whatever you did, it might help the next person. But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. I don't think I'm going to change Layla. She drank about 3 ounces of this bottle. I think I need to open the nipple a little bit more. It's coming out a little slow, but she is able to drink, and she didn't dribble nothing. And when I finish feeding my silicone drinking wet babies, I always burp them. I always burp my babies anyway, but with a drinking wet feeding, I like to burp them because it helps the water to go down into their diaper. And also sometimes they get air in their drinking wet system, the tubing. So sometimes they actually will burp. Like, I've heard Layla burp before, and I've seen like where she'll get like a little bubble come out of her mouth, a little air bubble of water. So you can tell that she burped. So yeah, it's good to burp your drinking wet babies after they finish drinking. So I'm going to just change her diaper, and I will probably change her into an outfit in a different video. Just put that blanket underneath her. And I'm going to put her in this Huggies newborn, if you can see it, the one with the storks on it. Let's see, did this diaper? Yes, she definitely wet her little diaper. So yeah, this video is going to be a little long. Thank you for those of you who stayed to the end. And so I wish my friend luck that is having this problem, although she said she had already gotten rid of her dolls. But hopefully, maybe she could still figure out something and start collecting again. Because I just feel bad that she cannot collect her dolls anymore. Maybe somebody can make some suggestions for her underneath. this video and she will read it. She said she might not be watching my videos anymore because she didn't have her dolls anymore. But then she did comment on a recent video that I did like last week. So that means maybe she might watch this video and she can read you guys' comments or suggestions. So that is the green line. So she definitely wet her little diaper. So she did drink about 2.5 to 3 ounces of that water. So yeah, maybe she'll run across this video and watch it, and somebody could help her come up with some kind of way where she could even have 1 or 2 dolls, a smaller collection or something. And like I said, the other lady kept her dolls in her closet. I don't know if that's possible for her. That's an idea where the dolls are not just out in the open. Maybe you can just set your dolls up in an extra closet you have in the house. Some houses have them nice big closets. You might could just set up a little dolly spot inside the closet and just keep the dolls in there and not interfere with anybody with them, with the rest of the family. And they won't have to even see them. You can enjoy them when they're not home and you're home by yourself. I don't know, but that's her with her little diaper. But yeah, I would have to figure out some kind of way to have my dolls. That's just me. I would have to be creative and figure out a way for everybody to just let me have my dolls and leave me alone, and I keep the dolls out of their way. I would figure out something. We would have to figure out some kind of compromise, some kind of middle ground. So Layla is just wearing, I had just put this on her, and it is just a little yellow with white polka dot little onesie with a little neon pink bow and trim on the collar, and a little neon pink headband with no sockies. And that is how I am enjoying her. So that is our Sunday video, guys. We will come back with another video for you to see her get changed into her outfit. I did take this passy out. Let's see, do she have any lubricant in there where I don't have to add any more to the pacifier? And that is her. These passies are so big on her face though sometimes for her. They kind of big. But anyway, take care, guys. Stay safe. Be well. And we will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.